All right, YouTube, we're going to do another one and probably one more after this for today. Still out here in the barn. You can still see my skis and my canoe paddles. You can see my welding helmet there too. And my son's is right next to it. That's my son's. But so today we just did the sockets and the ratchets. Now we're going to turn around and we're going to talk about wrenches. You're going to need wrenches to go along with the socket set and the ratchets. So we're going to start up here. I got a ton of SAE. A ton of SAE because I worked on a lot of small engines for a long, long time. I also worked, I do a lot of appliance repair. So you've got really, a lot of that is going to be in SAE. You want to start at 1/4 inch and you want to go all the way up to 1 inch. I actually go all the way up to 1 1/8 inches because I find there's some fixtures on some small engines. Mainly, where I found this the most is working on like a hay baler or something. It's got a hay baler and a conveyor belt. You're gonna find 1 1/8 on. When I was working back on the farm, the oyster farm, it was also a land farm, and I was their de facto mechanic. I found I used this quite a bit. When I was working on the conveyor belt, I actually had to fix the hydraulics on one of the tractors, the loaders on a tractor, you know, the front end loader on a tractor. I found I needed this. So, but just if you're not working on that kind of stuff, go up to 1 inch. You should be fine. I've got all sorts of really small ones. I go all the way down to, like I said, 1/4 inch. I also have these little, I thought I was going to use these all the time getting into tight spaces. These short wrenches. I don't think I've used them once. I have them to try and get into the small spaces, but never had to use them. What I do find really nice to have, this is actually a pressure fitting removal tool. You slide that over and if you're redoing fuel lines, you're redoing your fuel pump and you got to disconnect the fuel lines, you slide this over and it will remove the pressure fitting. There's other ones that, there's other applications for it too, but that's why I bought it, because I was doing my fuel lines. But what I mean to be talking about here, yeah, that's a nice little tiny one too, is these. These are line wrenches. These are, you're gonna need these when you're redoing your brakes. Very good tool, very purpose-built tool, and nothing else is gonna do it. You need these to do different things with brake lines. Obviously, this is the SAE drawer. And much like with the sockets, I would say this. For every socket you have, you should have a box end wrench, combination wrench like this, that matches that socket. And something that I didn't talk about in the socket video that I should have is, see how this has 12 points here? This is fine for one of these. This is fine for a combination wrench. When you have sockets, 9 times out of 10, where is, oh, it's over here. I was trying to put it on the other side. You're going to want a 6-point socket, because that is going to slot onto the head of the bolt, the head of the nut, and each one of these is going to make direct contact with the sides. So it's going to give you a lot more leverage. It's going to be a lot less likely to strip out the bolt, because stripped bolts, stripped nuts are a pain in the butt. So moving along, oh, and one of the most important sizes that you're going to need in SAE that I didn't mention in the socket video, socket and socket wrench video, is a 1/2 inch. You're going to be doing a ton with a 1/2 inch. This is my favorite 1/2 inch wrench. And I have multiple 1/2 inch wrenches, but this is the one that if I'm going to be doing something specific and I know, hey, the carburetor bowl on the snowblower has a 1/2 inch waste bolt, whatever you call it, the little bolt that holds the carburetor bulb on. I don't know what things are called. That's why people usually think I'm stupid, but I know how to work on them. This is the wrench that I'm going to be looking for because it's going to be a 1/2 inch. So now we move on. Again, like I said, for every socket that you have, you should have a combination wrench to go with it. We start with 7mm. And we go all the way up to, right now, 21mm. I'm going to be adding up to 24 when I have the time and the inclination to go over to the Ace Hardware so that I can add those extra wrenches. Now, the way I did my wrenches, when we didn't have any money, when I was working for $12 an hour at the oyster farm, and my wife had actually had some health problems and was not able to work at that time, it became very clear to us that, okay, we still need to keep these vehicles on the road. We still need to be able to get back and forth to the oyster farm, to grocery store, stuff like that. We were living in Warwick, which is a much more urban environment. It's a city. And we decided, you know, I really need to have a set of tools that are going to allow me to work on our vehicles and work on our lawnmower and stuff like that so that we don't have to pay people to do it, because $12 an hour does not go far at all. A lot of times we were eating oysters and quahogs and crabs that I brought home from work, that I'd catch them as I was working, and that was that. We had a lot of chowder, we had a lot of quahogs, stuffed quahogs, stuffy cakes, clam cakes. That's the way it is. When you have nothing, you make everything count. And by the grace of God, we don't live like that anymore. I should say this: we don't have to live like that anymore. We still do, because anything can happen at any time. That's what I've found. But what I'm saying is, when we were living like that and I had to expand my toolkit, I would go out each week and I would buy one socket and one box end wrench to get myself up to the sizes that I needed to do the different work on the vehicles. And if you're a young person, if you're in college or you're in high school, or like my son, you're homeschooled, Lil Sweet saying hi, that's a very good way to do it. You're not going to be making a ton of money. Just think of it as small investments in yourself. If you buy one tool a week from your paycheck, you're going to be amazed at how quickly that adds up. You're going to be amazed at the toolkit that you put together, because you need a basic toolkit to do. That's what this whole series is about. A basic toolkit to do the bulk of the work that you need to do. If you do it in small investments, if you do it a little bit at a time and only buy the specialty stuff when you need it because you've got a project coming up, you're going to put together a very solid toolkit that's going to let you do a lot of work that you need to do. And you're going to be able to do quite a bit with a moderate investment. But if you do it slowly, it works out nice. It really does. That's how I did it. That's how pretty much everybody I know put together their toolkits. Years and years they put them together. When I was living in Vermont with my ex-wife, I had my entire toolkit could fit into a little Craftsman carry-around Craftsman toolbox. That's all I had. I had a set of screwdrivers. I had a set of pliers. I had a few different sets of pliers. Needle nose pliers, regular pliers. I had a hammer with a curved claw. I had a razor knife. And I had a basic 3/8 socket set that I think it only went up to 3/4 inch. I did everything that I could with that toolkit. That was enough that I could change the oil in my Jeep. That was enough that if I needed to, I could make minor repairs. Wasn't perfect, but it was what I could afford at the time. She had a very bad drug problem, so we never really had money in savings. And I hope and I pray that she's at a healthy place now, but I really don't know. When I moved out and I moved to Rhode Island again, I went and I started buying basic tools so that I could meet my needs. It sounds like one of the dogs just knocked something over. I started buying the basic tools that I would need to do basic home repairs, basic building, basic plumbing, basic electrical, basic car and engine repairs, basic appliance repairs, and you just build it up a little bit at a time, and eventually you'll have a big toolkit that allows you to do a lot of different work. I'm probably going to be getting into some other stuff as far as tools go, some things that you wouldn't really think of as tools, but obviously they are, because they help you get work done. We're going to be getting into the power tools. We're going to be getting into different squares that you're probably going to need, you are going to need them. It's going to be a big comprehensive series, and you're going to, if you watch these videos, you're going to be like, oh my God, that's so much. It's a lot of tools. I have a barn full of tools. I have a truck full of tools. I have a basement full of tools, shop tools that I can build kitchen cabinets out of my basement. I can build tool sheds and barns out of my truck. Those are very specific. You're not going to need all of that, but you are going to need a good set of tools to do what you need to do, what you choose to do. So stay tuned for the series. It's a lot of fun making it. I'm having a lot of fun sharing all this with you guys, and I hope wherever you are comfortable and that God is with you. Thank you.